Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours podcast, guys. This is our first live stream. So those of you that are watching us on YouTube, this is our live stream. And we have Hunter here with us in person today. And we actually have Chris, who will be joining us from his house. He couldn't make it in person, but he is going to be talking with us from his house. We got him set up and everything. So let me see if I can add you here, Chris. There we go.
All right. Looks like we maybe just
How's it going?
are on audio right now, but
There we go.
Here we
There's
go.
gonna be I guess there's a delay. All right. But yeah, as long as we know it's showing up on there, cool. All right, Chris. So yeah, so you're set up from your house. How's that going for you?
It's a little bit of a learning curve, but other than that, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Just got to make sure the kids are quiet. For mine.
And you actually went and bought a microphone today.
Yeah, I went and bought the Blue Yeti Nano USB-C. I tried using my Rodecaster for that blogging kit that I bought, and I guess I need to do like a split device, so it was easier just to buy a mic.
That's cool. Nice. Well, before we get too far into it, I know we always have the whiskey of the week. So this week we are actually trying Oak and Eden. It's actually a bourbon, and when I got this, I'm like, I didn't realize that it's because it says there's a toasted oak spiral. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And then I got it home into some light outside of the shop, the liquor store. And there's actually a oak spiral in there.
Like a corkscrew looking piece of wood. So
yeah. So it's pretty cool. So it's one we haven't tried yet. So we're gonna be trying this. It is a Tennessee. Is it Tennessee? I don't know.
let me see.
Do you have a whiskey that you're drinking, Chris?
It's a bourbon.
No, not tonight. I don't know if my stomach can handle it.
Small batch bourbon. So they're calling it a bourbon. I'm guessing it's from Kentucky, but it's not.
I don't know.
Yeah. Louisville. Oh, wait. In Texas. I don't know if it's Louisville or Louisville, Texas, but looks like it's from Texas. So,
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
It's not bad.
Yeah. It's got a little bite to it.
I've been stuck on that Gentleman Jack, so this has definitely got a different taste to it. Definitely stronger, kind of a little more burn. I guess.
And really, really woodsy tasting for sure.
Definitely that oak spiral is definitely having an effect on this taste. So
yeah, absolutely.
But it's pretty cool. But Hunter's actually back. You've been absent for the last couple episodes just because you've had some stuff come up.
Yeah.
But it's good to have you back, and I'm glad we could have
back.
Yeah, I'm glad we could have Chris with us, even though he's not with us, but still pretty cool.
Keith tried to get me to be the guinea pig of recording from home, and I'm glad that Chris is the one that's having to figure all this stuff out.
Yep. Yeah. My wife said that you needed to move your camera down, but that's as far as I can get it down, right?
Yep. Unless I stand up the entire time, I guess we could try that.
She keeps going, Chris, move your camera down. Move your camera down.
Sounds like it'd be really comfortable.
Yeah, that's as far as it goes down.
Whoa, you do not want to see me. So we got multiple camera angles going, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. Hopefully Chris is showing up on the video nice.
Yeah, live streaming is a lot more difficult to set up than just the pre-recorded shows that we put out. There's a lot more into it, and a lot more things that can go wrong. But
yep, I was supposed to be over here like 40 minutes ago, and I came stumbling over like 15 ago. I'd fallen asleep, and luckily my mom gave me a call. Otherwise, this would have been a lot more stressful trying to get this all set up in time.
But yeah, so I know in previous episodes earlier this year, I think our first of this year actually was goal setting. And, Chris had his goals, you set yours, and you had disc golf and playing in, I think, 10 tournaments this year, right?
Right.
How's that going?
Well, it's going fantastic, actually. I play in a tournament tomorrow morning. It's a 2-round tournament at Rosedale. Which is one of the most popular courses that we have here in Kansas City. It's a really iconic course, and unfortunately, over the last 48 hours or so, we ended up getting a bunch of snow, but I keep checking the email, and they haven't canceled yet. So when we tee off for the first round tomorrow at 9 o'clock, it's supposed to be a whopping 16 degrees. So I have that to look forward to. But I went and got a test round in on Wednesday before this weather moved in and shot 3 down. I had 3 bogeys, and they were just complete mental errors. I grip locked off the tee, hit an early tree on 2 of them, and then the third one missed a putt that I almost would never miss. And so little mental things like that, I just got to get out of my head before I play tomorrow. But so I've got that going on, and then following weekend, got another tournament, Cedar Ridge and up in Bonner Springs, and then I'm signed up for another tournament. It'll be the biggest tournament I've ever played in, but that's not until I think it's in June. It's a 3-day tournament, 3 different courses. It's the Midwest Amateur Championship. So I got 3 at least on the book so far, 3 of the 10, and as they pop up, I'm just gonna keep at it.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Keith, man, what a good friend he is. Won't even come caddy for me tomorrow.
It's supposed to be so cold tomorrow.
I know, but I need.
For those of you that aren't in Kansas City, there is snow on the ground. I think the morning temperature when he's leaving is 18. That sounds like no fun whatsoever.
When I'm leaving, it's 12. When I tee off, it's 16.
Oh, okay.
But luckily, my buddy Austin, he's a big fan of disc golf. He's going to come, and it's not that I actually need a caddy. It's more he's going to help carry. I've got a big Carhartt jacket and the extra towels I'm going to need because there's snow on the ground, so the discs are going to be wet a lot, and just help me carry the extra stuff I'm going to need because you're going to have to, you don't want a big heavy coat on while you're trying to throw. It's obviously restricting. But it'd be annoying to have to set it down, you don't know where you're sitting on the ground. It could be in the snow or whatever, off on. So he'll be a big help with that as we go through the round.
That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'll caddy for you when it gets warmer. Because I definitely, before I do a tournament, I'd like to caddy so that way I kind of get a feel how they go, because it's a lot more different than we play. When we play, we keep track of each other's, like our own scores. But you said when you go out in a tournament, you're basically keeping score of somebody else that you're assigned to.
Yeah, typically, each person is responsible for tracking the score of one of the other players on your card. There's four players per card. So, like if you, Chris, and I were playing, I would be tracking your score. You'd be tracking Chris's. Chris would be tracking mine. And then at the end, you're still tracking your own score as you go through. But then at the end, you look through, and then you have to sign the scorecard saying, yes, I agree. This is the score I shot.
That's cool.
So there's that element to it. And then there's the whole, playing by the rules to a T. If you throw into some bushes, you can't just stand to the left of where it's at in the bushes and throw. You actually have to have a foot within I think it's like an 8-inch by 12-inch imaginary box that's behind the disc. And when you're putting, if you're within 33 feet, you have to stay balanced behind the disc as you're putting. If you like to step over the disc as you're putting before it comes to rest in the chains, and that'd be a foot fault. So that's an extra stroke you have to add. So it's a lot more technical when you're playing in a tournament, but everybody who plays is typically really nice. And if you have any questions, would be more than willing to answer that question for you. So
that's cool. And Chris, you were talking about doing some tournaments this year too, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, as long as you go with me, I think you need to get involved too.
Yeah,
good for both of us.
So, your brother Nathan said he would be your hunter caddy, but he's got to work.
Nate the Great.
But so before that, earlier, my wife, when I first brought him on, wrote this comment. Chris, we can all see where the magic happens. So yeah, that must be where the magic happens, right? Although I hear when you're married, the magic doesn't happen anymore, but at least for me.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. It still happens.
Just depends on the day, man.
And apparently Nicole Lauer, my sister, wants me to tell jokes. Actually, my niece wants me to tell jokes. I don't know any good jokes.
I got some really inappropriate jokes, but I don't think your niece wants to hear those.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Um,
Chris, you got kids. Tell a good kid-friendly joke.
How do you make a bandstand? Take away its chairs.
Definitely a dad joke.
That is such a dad joke.
That's funny.
I don't know too many jokes that are appropriate anymore.
Yeah, and I think Nathan's played at Rosedale several times, so he did a shout out to that.
Yeah,
But
Old Nate the Great.
I actually haven't played at Rosedale yet. I've been really stuck with Heritage, Blue Valley,
Middle School.
and I think I played Shawnee Mission Park once.
Yeah, and we
last
may
year.
have played Prairie Center once as well.
What's that one that was flooded out when we went? Is that Prairie Fire?
Prairie Center.
Prairie Center?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were only able
Yeah.
to play the first 10 or 11 holes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris and I went back without you there.
Mm-hmm.
We did so bad. Like we just didn't keep score. We're like, because it's, I don't know if it was just because there were a lot of trees, it seemed like, but I hit every freaking single tree that I could.
Which is funny because I think that course compared to Heritage is like a third the trees, you know? So
I know, but I don't know what it was, but Chris and I both had a terrible day. And one group let us play through, and you're like, all right, cool. But then you got all these guys watching you throw, bam, straight into a tree.
Well, that's a tournament for you right there.
Yeah.
Strangers you don't know watching you throw. But to be fair, that had to be a while ago. Both of your guys' game has improved drastically since then. So I think it'd be a lot more fun for you to go play now that you have a better grasp on the game.
Yeah, I played once this year. I want to get kind of back into my groove before I really.
Yeah. We've
do
had just
anything.
so much like random bouts of snow, and then of course whenever we have a really nice day, it's like in the middle of the week. And but with daylight savings, we'll definitely have more opportunities to play.
All right, Nicole, here's a joke from Marie. Why did the cowboy get a dashing? Because he wanted to get a long little doggy. Yeah, she must have missed.
Get along, little doggy. Come on, Keith. Let's hit some punchlines.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you can't really read a joke.
Well, the problem is, there we go. Dash hound. Yeah, it must have been the text that didn't do it right. Way to go. Thanks a lot, Marie. Made me screw up that joke. I blame you. And then Nate.
What do you call cheese that's not yours?
Right. And then Nathan talking about that course we just talked about. Hole 12 is tree filled. 13 always gets flooded.
Yeah, hole 12 is.
Yeah, we got terrible dad jokes, so I'm I don't know what to say.
Yeah, but for the course I'm playing, it's like really iconic, and it's really close to downtown, and I get why, and it's really close to Dynamic Disc. Dynamic Disc is they're a manufacturer of discs, but they have a store that's really close to the course that sells almost all manufacturers' discs. They don't just sell their own disc, but you can get pretty much any disc under the sun that you want there. So that's kind of why it's popular. But to me, for how challenging it is and how far of a drive it is for like you and I and Chris, combined with the fact that it is always so busy that you are either waiting before you can tee off on every hole, or there's freaking groups of 8 guys in front of you. It's not worth it to me. If I was going to take you to another iconic course in Kansas City that I think you guys would enjoy, it's a lot harder, but it's just so beautiful. It's called Waterworks, and it's northern Kansas City, but it's right next to huge water treatment plant,
Mhm.
and it's where I think it's got to be close to where the final stages of the treatment process is, because you can just see these massive open tanks with just like crystal clear blue water, and then the Kansas City skyline in the back.
Nice.
It's really pretty.
Heck yeah. Well, at least your wife Kat liked that joke that Marie said, even though it was messed up.
You know,
Yep.
Keith read the
I read
punchline
it
the most
totally.
monotone possible way.
Well,
Get along, little
the
doggy.
problem is when I put the comments up, it shows up for a split second, and then all the different camera angles show up over that. So I can only see the comment for like a split second before it goes away for me. So I tried.
Oh, really? You can look on here.
Yeah.
It'd be weird to look on here. You can see all
Well,
the
I got the preview on the iPad too, but I'm blind. I can't see very far. And then Nathan says there's a store in Emporia that's way better.
Yeah, it's about quintuple the size. It is probably even bigger than that. And Emporia, for people who are listening who may not know, is kind of like the mecca of disc golf. They have one of the, if not the biggest tournament of the year for the pros there every year. They have, I don't know, have to have like 10 different courses there, 3 really famous ones, and I mean, they just go all out. I think the guy who actually created dynamic discs was in school at Emporia when he created and correct me if I'm wrong on that, Nate, but I think so.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm trying to get you picture-in-picture, Chris, but for some reason, we tried it earlier and it worked, but for some reason, I cannot get you. There we go.
And Nate says here, we should all play in a tournament. We definitely can. They have.
Here we go. We'll put Chris in the middle of us, like he's actually here. Thanks for joining, Chris.
They do have tournaments. I've played a charity tournament, and they do have tournaments where it's, you know, it doesn't mean anything. It's not sanctioned, but we could still play in a tournament together where we just played best disc, but it'd be all 4 of us. So we could shoot really low and have fun. And a lot of times at those tournaments, they've got like coolers along the course that are filled with beer or soda or water or whatever you want, but you can, you know, drink while you play, which when I did it was such a blast to go play it.
And Nicole says that they have some good disc golf courses down in Wichita, so we should try that out too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I've never seen any of the courses there, but that looked like a really nice course when we were driving. I think we're going down around the south side as we were on our way to Conway Springs, to where Jasmine's grandparents lived. But I mean, they had all brand new baskets, and you could tell they just had put nice tee pads in, so it looked like it was a cool course.
That's cool. Heck yeah. What else you got going on, Chris?
Not too much. Just been wanting to play disc golf, but weather has been crazy with us. So
did you
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Did you talk about your Bmw mishap last podcast?
Yeah. You were almost late last podcast, and we didn't start. Luckily, it's not a live stream. We were pre-recorded that one, but you were a little late.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
So I got the BMW running. So I drove it to the south side of Spring Hill, got gas, drove it on the highway, drove fine. I was like, all right, cool. I'll just drive it to the podcast that night. And got almost 3 blocks away and it died on me. And I didn't know what was going on. Some guy helped me push it actually into a neighborhood. It wouldn't crank or start. So I was like, oh, great. Battery's dead. And I waited like 5 minutes and it started back up. So then I just booked it back home and it actually stopped right when I got into my neighborhood. So
nice.
I did a little bit more troubleshooting and then I replaced the sensor on it. So I got to wait for warmer weather. I drove it around, I think this last weekend for like another 30-40 minutes just in my neighborhood. I was doing stop and goes around the neighborhood for 30 minutes straight. Like, okay, why did it die before? Now it doesn't. So I think I got it fixed. So we'll see.
Well, that's good.
And you're going to do a kind of a vlog with YouTube channel and doing stuff with your car, right?
Yeah, I went and bought a vlogging kit. So I'm going to try to use that and start doing my YouTube that way and blogging and doing like whatever we do day to day life stuff. So
That's
we'll see
cool.
how it turns out.
Yeah, yeah. And so you're gonna be doing that, Kat. It sounds like she's got her screen name as the Peachy Sunflower, so it sounds like she'll be working on her podcast.
Yep, I'm supposed to get her someone to design all the art and everything and intro stuff. So
Nice. Yeah, I did a lot of mine on a website called Fiverr. It's basically just people that do freelance work, and you type in whatever you want, and it pulls up all these samples of work that people do, and you can kind of go through and see what they can do and reach out to them. And it's as cheap as like $5, or you could spend like, I think for my intro and outro and channel art, it was like $40, but it was like a cinematic kind of video for the intro and outro. So it's pretty cool. So worth it. But then you can also do Canva has a free version, and then they have a paid version where you can actually create your own off templates and kind of change your design however you want to. So that's another cool way, especially, you know, if you want a short intro, that's kind of cool way to do it. Marie, we got her through Fiverr, somebody to actually do her intro. It was nice, cool, like simple, quick video for her cooking channel that we're going to be working on. So definitely cool stuff that you can get from people doing freelance work and everything. So, and looks like Ryan is here. And so what's up, Ryan? So yeah, Ryan, if you guys saw my video on YouTube earlier this week about the Palmetto State Dagger versus the Glock 19, that Dagger is actually his. He ordered that and let me do a video on it. So it's pretty cool. It's almost exactly like the Glock 19, just for a lot cheaper.
It was crazy. Yeah, I came over here after he had already filmed it, and just the ease in which you could swap out the slides or the magazine or whatever. I mean, there was no, I mean, it was just so smooth to do the transition. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out.
Yeah, for the price point, like their base one that's just like the Glock 19 starts at $299.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, you know, if you buy the Glock 19, if you find a good deal on it, you're at least 500, yeah, with tax and stuff, upwards of 550 or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't have the budget for Glock 19 but want something just like it, I mean, the PSA Dagger's pretty cool. And then they have upgraded versions with a threaded barrel and the suppressor sights, which is the one I have in the video. So definitely a lot you can do with it. I'm interested to see long term how it holds up versus the Glock 19.
Yeah,
because the 19's been the most popular handgun since the late 80s, and it's gone, you know, it's survived all this testing and stuff. So I'm interested to see how the Dagger holds up.
Yeah, being a newer gun, not really being put through the ringer yet.
Yep.
Can't wait to see that guy who does the meltdown videos.
I know.
Put it through the.
Yeah, Iraq veteran, but a big YouTube channel, a gun YouTube channel anyway, and he does a lot of meltdown videos. So he's taken like Palmetto State Armory. I think he took a PSA AR and actually shot it. He put a full auto lower on it and just shot it until it melted down.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done that with a couple others.
Yeah,
some AKs and everything.
Did it with an AK until the wood stock was legitimately on fire.
Yep.
And it was.
How,
they're cool to watch.
How fun would that be to just have the means to
just
melt down a gun?
Yeah.
Not only are you going through thousands around, but then you know that gun's not. It's gonna kind of be destroyed.
He's wearing like forging gloves and like, you know, like a welder's mask and like fire retardant clothes, because it's just, I'm sure it's the heat's got to be insane.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we'll see how that gun comes out, but you know, it takes all the same parts as a Glock 19. The trigger on it's doesn't feel so great. Ryan, you'll have to let me know how it feels when you actually shoot it, but you can always upgrade that to any Glock trigger or anything that would go in a Glock 19, so.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some cool triggers out there for sure. And with that green slide, I'm sure there's a combo you could find that would look really nice with that.
Yeah. And you had mentioned looking at one of those, right, Chris?
Yeah, I've been looking at it pretty much this whole week and then doing like research on different triggers, and because that's what the biggest complaint is that I've heard is the trigger. So I mean, you can pretty much do a trigger upgrade anywhere for $50 to $150 and be ready to go. And then sights is the next big complaint. So,
I mean, having it next to being able to pull the 19 and then the Dagger trigger back to back. It's like almost like the Dagger triggers. I don't want to say flimsy, but it's almost like it flexes a little bit when you pull it. And that, what is it called? Double action,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
has. And
Yeah, Nathan Seen, Iraq veteran. Yeah, he does a lot of cool stuff. I wish I had the budget that they have on their YouTube channel. They have all the sponsorships and everything, and obviously make all the YouTube money too. So that'd be cool to have someday,
coming to a Boomstick near you.
right? So Kat says that we don't need to talk about red.
Yep.
What's red?
So his
the name of
BMW.
It's the name of the BMW. It's red.
Man, I wish I could have seen it. I've heard so much about it.
Yeah, it'll be around here before too long.
Yeah, and you'll
I can't
you'll be
wait.
doing some videos on it. Did you ever you figured out what was wrong with it?
Yeah, I think it was just a coolant sensor. I guess it plays a lot with the ECU and the fuel management system. So I think that was the issue.
Gotcha. Nice.
Well, and then my red truck is kind of down for the count right now. So maybe use my stepfather's trailer and get it hauled back over here, and you can make a nice little video series on how to rebuild an engine.
Yeah, it needs a new engine. So I told Hunter you would do
Oh,
it for like a
man.
bottle of whiskey or two.
Bottle of whiskey and all the free YouTube content you can handle.
Heck yeah.
Oof.
It'll give you something to do. And yeah, like you said, YouTube content.
Yep. I think we should just find a little 4-cylinder diesel turbo and put in it.
That would be hilarious. I would love that.
All right, let's do it, Chris. That's your job.
I'll start researching.
Well, Chris, did you do anything with guns this week?
No, not really. Just looked up that Dagger. It really piqued my interest, so I just started researching that and finding parts if I wanted to build one, and looking at different like slides. And I even got to the point where I was looking at the P80 lowers, but ever since these ghost guns are becoming an issue, I don't think I'll be doing that.
Cool.
Yeah, nice.
And Keith, what about you?
I did just that video on the Dagger, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I've just been getting ready for this live stream, trying to figure out how to use Ecamm. So, but yeah, that's all I've done.
Hey, this live stream is pretty much all you've talked about for the last 2 days. So hopefully everything keeps going smoothly.
I know. I got a window over here that says you're offline, but everything else says we're good. So I'm just going to assume we're good. I don't know what that came up. So Marie is actually ahead of me. I did have this as a topic about talking about ghost guns and how they're becoming a problem. So yeah, so ghost guns are becoming more prevalent, I guess you could say. And if you don't know what a ghost gun is, I've actually put up some things from the ATF that kind of just on their website kind of tells you what is a ghost gun. So it basically starts out as an 80% lower. So usually you're going to have an AR lower receiver that you get that's not 100% finished. So it's, again, 80% finished. And then, or a pistol. Those are the two most popular ones, is a pistol and an AR 80% lower. So basically it's just a lower that's not yet considered a firearm because it's not fully milled out to accept all the firing controls that you need. So let's go here. So this is basically an example right here. So this is kind of still not considered a firearm yet because it doesn't have everything milled out for it. And I believe this is another one here where the top one where you see where you would put the trigger or the trigger would go there where it says solid. So since that is not milled out, it's not considered a firearm yet. So it's sold as a 80%er, and you just get that mailed to your house. There's no serial number on it or anything, and you get a jig. It either comes with a jig or you can buy a separate jig and put it over there. And if you have a drill, you just finish milling that out. And you'll see on the bottom one there where it kind of, they started cutting out where the trigger goes. So since that process has been started, that's in turn considered a firearm at that point. So once you start getting into cutting that out or drilling it, then it becomes a firearm. Now, the ATF is always changing their stance on this stuff, so it's kind of hard to keep track. And some of the stuff that they put out on here is not 100% defined.
Yeah.
So it's always in question. So one thing that comes up is, with guns that have serial numbers that you buy through a dealer and go through the background check and everything, have a serial number on them. So if they're used in a crime, they use that serial number to trace the gun back to the manufacturer and follow it down the line to see where that gun has been.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with ghost guns or these unfinished firearms, when people buy them, they don't have a serial number on them. So there's really no good way to trace them. There's somewhat of a way, but not your traditional way, which
Not an efficient way.
which they've said on here on ATF's website. So as far as making your own firearm, it is not illegal. And you can see on the ATF's website, I went under their FAQ, what is the ATF doing in regards to people making their own firearms? Well, an individual may generally, and again, that's a kind of a
nice broad term.
Yeah, broad term, generally make a firearm for personal use. So that it doesn't say you can have one. It doesn't say you can make 10. It just says generally. So that's usually anything that's in the gray area is up to the ATF and whatever they decide goes, kind of a thing. So it doesn't make sense. So they use ambiguous words like that where, it's not clear cut. So, but basically, you can make your own firearm. It's not illegal. So you can take this 80% lower, finish milling it out into a firearm, and then fully assemble it, and you're good to go. But you can't manufacture those and then sell them, because then you become a manufacturer of firearms and you need a manufacturer's license at that point. So, and that kind of says it right here. You can basically have it. You just can't engage in the business of manufacturing the firearms and then distribute them or sell them, because at that point you need to, one, put serial numbers on them, and you're then a manufacturer at that point and have to get that license, and you need to have a dealer's license and then a manufacturer's license, which is separate and quite pricey. I've looked into that for ARs, and it does get pretty pricey. And then the last thing is basically, since anybody can get this, criminals or people that probably shouldn't own guns can get their hands on these. And if they have the jig and a drill press, can make their own firearms. So
that don't have serial numbers and
yeah. So basically, right here it says, they can't really stop it. So they're like, oh, if anybody knows of anybody doing this, report it to us. So that's really all they say. So that's the ATF for you.
It's so crazy that I was going to ask you about this, and I had no idea it had to do with ghost guns. There's a guy at work. We were walking in, and he's an older guy, and he's just, I think, one of those guys that I could have been a inflatable blow up man, and he still would have tried to have a conversation with me. He's just one of those guys, and he starts telling me how he bought his mom a gun and all this, blah blah blah. And then he asked if I had any. He told him Glock 17. He's like, "Oh, I'm building a Glock right now," and I'm like, "Really?" We started talking about whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, I just haven't. I've got everything done. I just haven't drilled the holes yet." And I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" So I was like, "Oh yeah, cool, man." He's like, "Yeah." So at this point, with the lower and everything I've bought, I've only spent I can't remember how much he said. It was like $285 or $300 or something like that. And I'm thinking, what in the hell? Drill. I didn't know what ghost guns were. And so it's funny that he's telling me all about this yesterday, and then here we are today and talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, Marie brought a comment up here. There was a local school shooting at Olathe East, and the kid who did it had a ghost gun. So yeah, and again, it's not illegal to build a firearm. So trying to get that comment off of there. There we go. So yeah, it's unfortunately, I don't know if they put an age restriction on the website that they send it to. I think you have to be a certain age. I don't know. I've never ordered one. They're pretty much out of stock right now because they're so popular, because the ATF is trying. The ATF is, I think, this year coming out with a new definition of that stuff, you know? So Polymer 80 is one of the main manufacturers that sell these 80% lowers. You used to see them at the gun shows all the time, but not so much anymore. But the ATF is with the 80% lowers, the pistol braces on ARs, and the triggers that are kind of make your gun full auto, but not really full auto. They're supposed to be coming out with new rulings against that kind of stuff this year. So stay tuned, because what I just showed you could possibly change, because they're always changing how they consider firearms and what they consider certain firearms. So, and again, when they come out with something, it's so ambiguous. You're like, what does that even mean?
Don't even really know.
Is this illegal or not? Like it, and they basically say it's up to them to determine, you know, it at a per cases thing, if it's illegal or not. It's basically whatever they decide. So
on a per case basis, that's such a
it's so stupid.
Plus, you also got to think now too. You got these 3D printers. People could just 3D print them at their own house, and there's really no way of tracing that either.
I was thinking about that the other day. Would you have to then cast that 3D printed, because it's plastic, right? That gets printed.
Yeah, like
so. Then, like, if you were to run some rounds through it, wouldn't that just melt the plastic? So wouldn't you have to cast it?
No. So the lower receiver doesn't get hot, because the part of the gun that gets hot is usually the barrel.
Okay.
And so and like most pistols nowadays, the frame is mostly polymer, so plastic. So as long as you get the right plastic that's strong enough, but very rarely do the lower receivers of either a rifle or a pistol get hot enough to melt or anything.
Okay.
So if you've ever watched those Iraq veteran meltdown videos, it's always the barrel or the gas block that fails. It's never the lower.
Gotcha.
So but again, it's, as Americans, we have the right to make our own weapons, but that, again, it becomes a gray area, because, well, people that shouldn't have guns can then make them. But again, it comes back to Chris and I last podcast. If there's somebody that wants to do harm to other individuals, they're going to find a way to do that no matter what anyway. So why would you take the rights of the law-abiding citizens away just because there's these bad apples out there that are going to find a way to do anything? I mean, there's that black market. They could go find a gun somewhere. If they want to find one, they can. But yeah, with the 80%ers, as long as you have basically, you can do it with a handheld drill, but you got to be careful, because you want it to go straight through. So when you put the jig together, you really want to drill press. And without doing it with the proper machining, it's not always going to come out right as a DIY for the homeowner. So you'll definitely see machining marks on it, versus if you buy an actual lower from a company, it's going to have nice, clear stuff. But yeah, it's a whole touchy subject, especially in the firearms community, because when you buy a gun, you know, a lot of people like to buy an AR lower and then build from there, because there's so many parts now. They could customize it to however they want to. And usually the only part that they need to go through a dealer is the lower, because it has a serial number on it. So if you buy a stripped lower receiver that has all the holes and everything drilled out, at that point it's a firearm. So you have to go through a dealer. And then all the parts for that gun to build it, you can buy online and have them shipped straight to your house. So it's, and same thing with the pistols, because you can buy slides, barrels, triggers, and all that stuff, have them shipped to your house. The only thing you need a dealer for is the serialized lower. And as long as you pass that, you're good to go. But yeah, with the ghost guns, there's no serial number. According to the ATF, once you make that into a firearm and do all the drilling, you're supposed to put a serial number on there. Now,
Nate says, hell, I can make a bow and arrows whenever I want.
Exactly. So that's when it, you know, if anybody's if they want to do harm, they're going to do it. It's just hurting And again, it's not against the law to make your own gun. Yeah. So, yeah, and the ATF, like I said, is going to be coming out with a new opinion on it because the ATF is a joke at the end of the day. Let's be honest. if you are into guns, and before this live stream, I watched a YouTube video. Chris, have you watched Mr. Guns and Gear at all?
A little bit of it.
So
yeah, I follow him.
He's an FFL dealer, big YouTube gun channel, but he came out with the thing. So Rare Breed Triggers, I think is the name of them. They sell these triggers that they're not full auto triggers that you put in your AR, but they simulate a full auto, kind of like a bump stock.
Yeah.
You know how it simulated shooting full auto, but it actually was not full auto. Your gun was not a machine gun. It just simulates it. Well, these triggers kind of do the same thing. And last year, the ATF raided Rare Breed Triggers, took all their stuff, and I think the owner is in jail because they have ruled that these are machine gun parts, so which is illegal to produce without the proper license and all that stuff. So they went after him. He's in jail, and so they're coming out. An email got leaked where the ATF has permission to send out cease and desist orders to any retailer or dealer that has these, and they can go in, show them this cease and desist letter, and they have to turn those over. And they've been instructed that if that retailer or dealer does not give up those triggers, that they are to confiscate those, and basically you're going to be in trouble for not complying with the ATF.
What a bunch of assholes.
Right.
Also, why would you ever combine alcohol and tobacco with firearms? Like, why are those three that got grouped together?
It's a joke government thing. Your local sheriff has more power and control over that kind of stuff than the ATF does. Mm-hmm. But it's a joke. But so anybody that's purchased one of these triggers from a retailer, if the ATF goes in there and confiscates them, and they can potentially, if they have records of the sales and who they sold them to, could essentially go after the individual who had bought that. Mm-hmm. And since the ATF is considering those a machine gun part, they will come to your house and demand you hand that over. And if you refuse to,
they'll arrest you.
They'll definitely charge you. So it's up to each local office. So whether or not each state ATF agency follows this or not, to be determined. So it's just something to be aware of. So if you have bought a rare breed trigger, be aware that the ATF is going after the retailers to get these taken away. So if you have one and the retailer does keep record of who they sold it to, they could be knocking on your door, and they have been authorized to do so as of today. So, but yeah, check out Mr. Guns and Gear channel. He does a lot of cool stuff with guns and information like that. So, but yeah, enough boring stuff.
Oh, it's not boring. It's just intense. So much changing all the time that you have to be aware of if you are passionate about firearms.
And the fact that they want to redefine the pistol, like what's a pistol rifle versus a short barrel rifle, because those stabilizing braces, millions of people have them by now, because there was a letter, and when you buy one of those, you get a letter from the ATF that says this is illegal. So millions of people have those now. But if the ATF decides to redefine it and be like, well, if you have this, you're in turn making that what is a pistol now, a short barrel rifle, then they're going to make millions of people felons overnight. So, yeah. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but they're supposed to be coming out with a new definition of that this year. So we'll see what they decide. I'm sure it's going to be
vague,
very vague, and on a case-by-case basis. So you're going to have one and be like, well, I don't know if this is illegal or not, and probably won't find out until they come knocking on your door. And in that case, I lost it in a boating accident.
Yeah.
You're going to find out that there's going to be a lot of boating accidents that people just lost their guns in a boating accident. Sorry.
Yep.
It's at the bottom of the freaking ocean or lake of the Ozarks.
I accidentally ran over it, and so I had to toss it out.
Right. So, yeah. So have you done anything with those? I know you had talked about doing something with a 80% lower, Chris. Did you ever?
I never really got into it just because I was kind of scared of actually milling out because you got to be pretty precise usually with that type of stuff. But
Yeah,
I
you
do
do.
know the jigs they got that, and they got those new rotors and Dremels that are good. But I don't know. You're coming into precision. I'd rather have like a CNC machine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that, and then who knows, ATF could probably trace it and come knocking on my door, and that's the last thing I want.
Yep. Yeah,
Make up some bogus shit, come in the house and take it.
Yeah. But yeah, the jigs that they come with, as long as you mount it right and follow the instructions, you can, and you were halfway decent at knowing how to use a drill press, you can do a pretty good job. The plastic, you're going to have the milling marks no matter what, but it'll work. I'd rather have one that is done right, doesn't have any milling marks, and I know the parts I have are going to work with it. Because there's nothing worse than putting a gun together that probably won't work. I don't want to run that risk. And
spending money on it and having it not work.
So yeah, I'd rather do it that way. But again, it's not illegal to make your own gun. It's not illegal, like Nathan said, to make a bow and arrow. It's not illegal to have a knife. I could, as in other countries, you could run over a crowd of people with your vehicle.
Yep.
If you want to do harm, you're going to find a way. So
if you were going to have a EDC bow, what would you go with?
I know nothing about bows.
English longbow, recurve, what are we talking?
Whatever Daryl has in The Walking Dead.
Crossbow?
Yeah.
That's funny. I actually have a recurve bow.
Nice. I don't even know what that is, but all right.
Yeah, sure you do. If you saw a picture, you know. It's like the ones that curve out, and then it's not just like a straight arch. It's like they flare out at the end.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah. Had my wife buy it for me. 55-pound draw. I think I've shot it 10 times in the 8 years I've had it.
Nice.
But anyway.
But yeah, that's how the ATF is handling those right now. The ghost gun. So when you hear the media say a ghost gun, it's just a gun that somebody made at their house. They ordered a 80% lower, milled it out, bought the rest of the parts online somewhere, put it together themselves.
Cut some holes in a white sheet, put it over the top of it, has it float around.
Right. But so we'll see what happens with those here in the future. You know, we have Biden as president, so he wants to ban everything. He wants to ban assault rifles and all that stuff. So
sporting rifles, right? Isn't that what you're supposed to call them?
Yeah, the actual term. But yeah. So we'll see. We're how many more years are we stuck with this guy?
2
long years.
Yeah.
I think 2024 is the next election.
Mm-hmm.
Election.
2 more years. See what happens.
Ooh.
Luckily, and there's a lot more gun owners now because of the pandemic. So a lot more people kind of realize the benefit and need for the Second Amendment and owning a firearm.
And staying strapped.
Yeah. And again, not only just for self-defense, but just how fun it is to take it out and shoot. Like, it's fun.
It is fun. We went shooting at Keith's cousin's, the land that he has, and that was the most fun I've had in a long time.
Yep. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know if he's watching or not, Brandon, moved out of that house, so we don't.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
he's planning on buying it, and everyone from that to moving out of it?
Yeah, it needed a lot of work and that stuff with the landlord and all this stuff, so he decided to get out while he could. So because he goes down to Texas, he works down in Texas like 2 or 3 weeks on, and then off, comes back up here. So he bought a camper and has it parked on a buddy's property and just kind of living out of that. But why not? I mean, when you're traveling so much like he is.
And how old is he?
20 something?
Yeah.
Early 20s?
Early 20s. You don't need to be tied down to a house or an apartment.
Let's see. What did Nathan say here? He's been looking at a crossbow. I do have a mini one. Nice.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's got.
All right, Marie won an archery contest as a child.
Yeah, sure she did.
Did you really?
Yeah, sure you did.
Who are you playing against? I'm sure she's gonna come back at me real quick.
And you wouldn't be playing against anybody; you'd be competing against.
Or competing against whatever.
You don't play at shooting a bow.
Oh, and there was a comment earlier. Let me scroll back up. There was somebody said something about something black in your background, Chris.
Yeah, I think it was his wife.
Oh, it was my part of my tripod stand. It was sticking out this little, so I moved it.
Man, you can't have your gear in the video.
Come
I got
on,
lights,
man.
bunch of camera angles. You can't
Wires
see any
out
of
the
that.
yin yang.
Come on, man.
I know, right?
You got to learn how to be a production. Come on.
I know. Should have get other cameras then.
When we weren't faking your sickness, you could just be here recording with us.
I wish I was faking that sickness. God, I'd rather be there drinking whiskey.
I'm pretty sure you'd be fine if you were to crack open whiskey. It's not. What's it gonna do?
I don't know. I'd stay away from it.
Every time I'm sick, like if I have a cold or something, I drink some whiskey, I feel better.
I mean, if you have one, and it might make you feel better temporarily, but it's diuretic, it's going to dehydrate you, and essentially you want to be as hydrated as possible.
That's the next day's problem.
Yeah.
Why worry about what's tomorrow when you can have fun today?
Right. As long as it makes me feel good now, I don't care.
I got to figure out.
I'm trying to get better so I don't have that problem later.
Cat,
I do have an archery block. We could set up some contests for archery.
Hey, I've got an archery. I have a block, and I've got probably 20 arrows, and that we'd all be like. Unfortunately, Marie wouldn't be able to pull it back because it's a 55-pound draw, and it's not like a recurve. Recurve.
She goes, yes, MF. Ages 10 to 12, and my brother and I both placed.
But
nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Marie.
I don't think she'd be able to fire this one, but she could probably give you some pointers so you could maybe even hit the block once or twice.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I did the normal bow and arrow in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Didn't we do something like that, Chris?
Yeah, we did.
It was just a simple bow and arrow, nothing fancy.
I got a spare compound here, though.
Chris, I tell you, I got those Adidas Terrax for tomorrow.
No.
Have you seen them?
Ooh, I've seen them. I've been looking at them.
They
are they nice?
They're not, dude. They're comfy, and I got the ones that look way more athletic because one of their versions is like really dorky, like nerdy hiking looking. Like, look at me, the people who use ski poles while they hike.
Yeah.
And then the other one, or the one that I got, look pretty similar. They're just like these but black. But they've got that really hard tread on the bottom, and they're water wicking is what it says, not waterproof. So essentially all that means, I think, is if you get a little water on it, it won't soak in. But like you couldn't submerge your foot. So then I think it cost me $8 to buy a big can of waterproofing spray, and I just doused it yesterday. So hopefully my feet stay dry tomorrow. But if not, I'm gonna pack like a couple extra pairs of socks and maybe another pair of shoes just in case. But
yeah, Nathan says just drink a glass of water before you sleep, and that'll be fine. Yeah, have whiskey, drink a little bit of water before you go to bed. Bam.
Nate the Great is always giving the best advice,
right? And he's younger than
you too. He's older than me, I think.
Is he? How old's your brother?
He's 32, 33. He's like 2 years younger than me. So.
That's right. He's the same age as Nicole, right?
That's 5 years older than me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why he's got great advice to you young.
Oh,
this guy.
I was flipping through Netflix last night. See the preview for Top Gun. It looks terrible.
Are you Dude,
Looks
Chris-
1983. They're in the plane. They've got their nicknames.
First of all,
it, just
it was
looks
not
so
1983.
cheesy. It was 83. That's what I said on the thing.
There's no way.
Dude, I'm just telling you. That's what it said. It said
Somebody looked this up. When Top Gun was made, I'm pretty sure it was 86. When it's
Oh,
85,
okay.
86.
Yeah, you're right. It was 86. I was
Yeah.
getting a little excited, but
All right.
the little snippet preview that they had on Netflix.
Yeah,
I literally was
1986.
laughing
Dude, that is
at.
like one of the best freaking movies ever. Top Gun. God.
You need to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need
And
to
what
watch
you can't
it.
see behind the scenes is the 3 phone books that Tom Cruise has to sit on, so he looks
Right.
tall enough in his fighter pilot chair. Jesus.
My wife doesn't like it because they do play the same songs over and over. Well, the Danger Zone song and whatever the other one is. But
Yeah.
it's all about the freaking kick-ass jet flying and
Yeah.
how badass he is. And
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Unfortunately,
good.
yeah, it's
We were
whether or not it looks
inverted.
you can't judge it by the previews. Don't judge a book by its cover, man.
You need to
Come
watch
on.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it. I'm just letting you know. As I was scrolling through last night, I had a nice chuckle at how terrible.
I almost
No.
was gonna text you and be like it was on Netflix.
It's pretty gangster. It's good.
He's gonna
Okay,
change his mind. He's
okay.
gonna come back to us and be like, "That was the greatest movie ever."
Marie says she could pull back 55 pounds. She goes, "Shut up, Hunter. My personality and drinks aren't the only thing that's strong."
No, I'm telling you, it's not like pulling back a compound bow that once you get it pulled back, it locks out for you. You have to hold the tension the entire time until you loose the arrow.
Nathan's 32. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody else on here, help me out. This guy's got to watch Top Gun. I mean,
Mhm.
what? It's
Mm-hmm.
not that long of a movie.
It's great.
And we talked about Days of Thunder too. That's another classic he's got to watch.
Yep.
Racing.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's just like an
Gosh.
older version of Talladega Nights.
well,
That's not as
It's a
funny.
better version of
it's
Talladega
not
Nights.
a comedy, that's for sure. It's
Yeah.
definitely, but it has John C. Reilly in it playing a serious role.
I can't wait. Does he really?
Yep.
Yeah, he back in the day he used to play nothing but serious roles.
And then he just discovered he was hilarious and started making.
Yeah, at some point he went into comedy and was doing a bunch of stuff with Will Ferrell. But yeah, Perfect Storm was another serious movie he was in. A couple other ones.
I haven't seen it in a while. I want to see Kingpin again. Have you ever seen it?
I'm not talking to you about
Yes.
movies until you watch Top Gun, man.
I think that's.
But yeah, I think is Kingpin the one with the guy from Roseanne.
No, it's the one with the what's his name? He's got the gap in his teeth, and he was in Zombieland, and he's been in a bajillion
Woody
things.
Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson, and then I don't know who the Amish actor is, but the Amish actor can bowl like a mofo, so they.
Yeah, that's
They go on a
got
boat.
John Goodman in it, right, Chris?
No, I think
I don't
that
think
Or
that's
no.
John
I
Goodman.
think that is that's another bowling movie where he's the dude or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two different bowling movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But in Kingpin, Woody Harrelson's character gets up really early. He's trying to impress one of the attractive Amish girls. He's like, "Yep, got up early and milked your cow, and there's a pail full of white stuff. We don't got any cows. We got a bull, and it's just." So he was just stroking one udder. It looked like it's
Nice. Well,
that's good.
since your wife is out of town this weekend, you gotta watch Top Gun. I know she won't watch it, but
Yeah, maybe tonight, because right after this, I gotta go home, get all my shit ready, eat. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna wear tomorrow.
Chris, you can testify to this, and so can Marie. Hunter's once he starts drinking, he's like, "We might as well have one more. We might as well have one more."
I'm not
Yeah.
drinking
All
that.
night
Yeah.
this week, he's like, "Might as well have one more."
I'm not drinking any of that.
Yeah,
the
you
rest of
are.
that. No way.
Yeah,
I got some serious. I gotta be on my game tomorrow.
it's only 8:00.
I'm
Just
gonna
drink
win.
water before you go to bed. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, just listen to Nate. I was looking at, like, 'cause you can see what people are rated, who are playing in your division, and then I am rated. I can play an open division if I want. I'm not this tournament, but a guy who I played that practice round with on Wednesday is playing what?
Maurice comment, because we were talking about Top Gun in 86. She goes, all the best things from 86. I guess myself included. Hey, I was in 86 too, babe.
But yeah, so he plays in the open division apparently, and he's been playing in it for a year, and I just smoked him. So I'm like, shit. I mean, at least for these local C tier tournaments, do I need to be playing in open? Because I think he ended up shooting like 4 or 5 over. So we'll see. So I got to take this.
You'll get a good night's sleep with this class.
I got to take this real serious. Well, I'm going to get up at 6:30.
Yeah.
That way I can make sure anything, and excuse this if it's gross, that needs to come out of my body can come out of my body before I head down to the course. I don't want
Nice.
I don't want to be sweating, squeezing cheeks while I'm playing. So we'll
just stick a little bit of toilet paper in your bag there, and you'll be fine.
Can you imagine? Where's he at? He's supposed to be teeing off. Oh, he's back in the woods. I saw him run back there with some toilet paper.
Hey, my cousin dad, we were shooting out in the middle of nowhere, kind of a woodsy area. Hey, nature called, and I happened to have some paper towels in the van, and he made it work.
It may be stories for another
You gotta
time,
go.
but I've got more stories than I'd like to admit about some. It's coming out now, right this second.
Yeah, the Big Lebowski. That's what the
Big
other one was.
Lebowski.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, So we lost. Oh, he's back. Chris is back. He left. And
I had to get some whiskey.
what is that?
It's Rolling Thunder. Grain whiskey. Whew.
Grain whiskey, huh?
Yep.
What's the proof?
Let's see here. 92, 46% volume of alcohol.
So he's going for it.
A little bit of Grandpa's cough syrup right there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Nathan says, go to Big Biscuit for some coffee after. What time do you think you'll be done with that tournament tomorrow? How long do they usually go for?
Well, the first round starts at 9, and then you get roughly, it depends. I don't know how, if it runs long, there won't be much of a break between that and the second round just because of daylight issues. But it's supposed to be first round break from noon to 1, second round teeing off at 1. So 4:30.
Yep, I'm definitely busy tomorrow. I can't do it. Thank goodness for Austin.
That's okay. Yeah, Austin's going to come in the morning, and then I think my dad's going to be there for the afternoon. So,
yeah, how's that going to go?
Well, if I'm playing really well, I'm going to be like, Dad, you know I love you, but you cannot be anywhere near me while I'm playing.
His dad gets in my head because he tells these jokes.
Not even jokes. He just kind of talks.
And I don't get these jokes. And then I got to do the fake laugh, and then I just feel bad, and then
and then your game just falls apart.
Well, yeah, he gets in my head, and I just can't do it. I don't know if he has that effect on you, Chris.
No, he doesn't really get into me. I just laugh at him half the time.
Dude,
but
can definitely. He likes to.
He loves to talk.
He likes to enjoy certain things while we're playing. That. But
yeah.
Anyway. Well, we got anything else we need to cover?
I don't think so. My main thing was the ghost gun.
Yeah.
That Murray wanted me to talk about.
It seems like we were successful. People could see us and hear us, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the lighting's a little bit different. I know behind us, the lights are a little bit bluer and oranger than they used to be. It's because I moved the lights instead of being directly in front of us, and if we turn them up, they blind us. So then I have to turn them down, and then you really had a hard time seeing us. So they're overhead right now. So that might be
with what are these covers called?
So they're softbox covers that's kind of supposed to spread the light out more and kind of have a softer effect. And then we got them mounted on these large, freaking heavy duty C stands. So I need to do a video like of my podcast setup so you guys can see this. But these giant things, and now the lights are, you can't see it. It's just out of frame, but there's a light right above me right here, and then same with Hunter. So you're kind of getting that over the top.
Nate, which Big Biscuit do you work at? Is that where he works?
Did you have room service?
The one off
Whoa,
Antioch.
Did she bring you that bottle? Is that what she's meaning?
Yeah.
Is that Antioch and 135th?
Yeah.
Who's singing sentences?
What do you mean singing sentences?
Marie says, please don't start singing sentences. I'm going to sing just for you. What is she even talking about?
I wasn't singing sentences, was I?
You were not successful. I don't know.
What?
She must be behind. I don't know what she's talking about. We'll wait for her comment. I don't know. But yeah, I think we, unless you did you have anything else, Chris?
No.
So far, this has gone without any major hiccups or anything like that. So
yeah, this was easy. And then if all three of us are in the room, it's only going to be that much easier. We don't have to worry about Chris getting set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really worried. I wasn't sure, and I'll be interested to see on the playback, but I was kind of worried about the interview mode that you're in, but it sounds, I mean, I can hear you, and it sounds like everybody else can hear you, so that worked out. Hopefully, I'm able to take our audio, and oh man, if you couldn't hear that, Marie just cackled really loud because she's in the garage right below us.
It wasn't even a laugh. It was a full cackle. Like something you would expect like an evil witch to laugh that hard.
I don't know what, freaking TikTok probably, I don't know. But yeah, so when Chris is actually here, and if we do another live one, it'll be a lot easier, less stuff to have to control. But it's good to know that it's good to know that we can do the interview mode and everything seems to work. So
heck yeah, and if you did join us, thank you so much for your questions and sticking it through with us on our first attempt at this.
Yep, they were cat. Your kids and dogs were quiet.
Yeah, I wasn't a peep out of.
I couldn't hear them. That's good. I know before the podcast when they were putting them to bed, I'm like, man, I can definitely hear your kids.
Yep.
Well, we those of you that joined our live session, thanks for watching and again commenting, and hopefully I'm hoping to put this out on the Spotify platform that you can listen to this on the audio only if you weren't able to join. Ideally, we'll see if that happens. The way I had Chris record his audio on his side just in case.
And if you are wanting to be a guest on the podcast, we're having tryouts, so send us in your videos and we'll let you know if you make it or not.
Yeah, Nathan, you have to submit a video before we let you come on.
Just kidding, Nate. I can't wait till you're on.
Yeah, so what were we not successful? You said that in all caps, and we're trying to.
And what were we singing?
Who was starting to sing? Or were we talking about a movie? I don't know.
Maybe it was me. I said Danger Zone.
Did you?
But that was a long time ago.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know. We'll see what she says. But yep. So hit that if you're on YouTube. Hit that
subscribe
button, and you'll be notified. We might try these again on Friday, just because it's one for me, 0 editing, which is super nice, and then it just. You can rewatch it if you want to, and it's kind of cool to connect with an audience and have some stuff.
What you say?
I cackled because you said Marie said we were. I must.
I missed it. Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know. I know there, and she might not know this, but there is a delay between what we're doing versus what's going out on. I think there's like a. What would you say? There's probably a 10-second delay or so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, so because we got YouTube up as well, and there is a delay. So whatever we're talking about shows up about 10 seconds later. So we'll see. And yeah, Maria's the best.
Mississippi,
What?
12
Oh.
Mississippi, 13 Mississippi.
Is your wife drinking, Chris? Did she take a little bit of that whiskey?
I don't know.
Sounds like she's tipsy. So. Oh, your dad's seeing sentences.
24 seconds behind.
Okay. So that's why. Okay, it makes more sense now, Marie. There's a 24-second delay between what we're talking about and showing, and then when you see it.
And yes, my dad does do a lot of sing-song talking in sentences, and my wife
Yeah.
may or may not has dreamed of killing him about it a couple times. But anyways, thanks for joining. Look out for our merch that we're going to have coming out soon, and have a good night, everybody.
One of these days we'll have those merches. So, yeah, thanks a lot. And Chris, good having you on. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You got to do, yeah. Let's hear it again. I was talking.